Good evening and welcome to Gator's Garage, the home of all things historical gaming in the great city of Savannah, Georgia. We're so glad you're taking time to join us. I am Mike Baker, the Gator, and also the president of the Savannah Garrison, our local historical miniature club. With me tonight is my partner and friend, Randy Yan, tournament champion and tournament competitor. And we're going to be starting off our night looking at the new sniper rules from version 3. Randy, say hi to the folks.
Hey everybody, how you doing? I still got a little bit of jet lag from the weekend.
That's what happens when you party so hard, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we'll be talking about Nashcon and the tournament that Randy went to there, and then we'll be reviewing his list for his next tournament, which is this weekend in Savannah with
yep.
our very own Savannah Garrison. So I'm going to go ahead and add the so first comment. First up, of course, what everybody's talking about, all the incoming changes.
Let me get this
There we
thing up
go.
on the screen. Uh,
I'm going to need to keep that collapsed
there we
so
go.
that
That's
I
it. There we
can
go.
work the screen.
Yep.
Okay, so um, one of the first things, as I recall, I know Randy, you commented on this. One of the first things they told us when they made these changes was that, oh my gosh, we're going to uh, really dial back snipers by taking away exceptional damage, and everybody was like, "All right, how useful are snipers going to be?" Well, if you've taken time to look over the new version 3 update, snipers are going to be very effective.
Yeah.
The
So it's
and
not
and
only
the lives of officers and NCOs are going to get a lot more difficult. What do you think, Randy?
so exceptional damage. It's not just snipers that are losing exceptional damage. They're doing away with it over through the whole thing. So you're not
Right?
going to get it with any unit when you shoot at somebody. Yeah, so we right here, the first part of this paragraph, the leader of this unit, and that's going to be a theme for everything. The leader of a unit, small teams, they have a leader,
Yep. Yeah.
and that's who the snipers. Well, you can pick to take out. You can't pick out any equipment, but you can pick out the leader, which is going to affect the morale of the unit.
And I got to say, Randy, I know we talked about this a lot. One of the things that frustrated everybody with the old exceptional damage rules and with the sniper rules because they had the exceptional damage and then they kind of slapped the sniper on the exceptional damage, and of course exceptional damage said that if you killed the person handling a piece of equipment, then the equipment was out of action.
Yeah,
Well, that's crazy if you're
that's
just
a
talking
stretch.
small arms. I mean, my gosh, how many times and how many, especially during once you start adding in when you get into World War II and beyond, how many times has the machine gun guy got killed and the next guy took his place and thrown the enemy back? So it was very frustrating. I know the running joke. Remember, we started off with making MMGs great again, and of course, one of the things that used to drive people crazy was the sniper could take out an entire medium machine gun team by quote unquote exceptional damage. So
Yeah,
I for one am really glad to see this rule go away.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But everything,
It's too much of
you
a
know,
wild swing when you can just wipe out a unit with one shot, and it's pretty
yes,
easy to hit them too. I mean, it wasn't like the sniper had a hard time hitting. It's like boom, three, boom, you hit them, you know.
just so, yeah.
Yeah, and if you had an inexperienced unit, that's even more dangerous. Yeah, yeah. It's like man, hang on.
Dead men walking. Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to, well, I played in a tournament last year, and I brought two snipers, and a guy
Oh,
had it. He
that's
had an '88 German, a very expensive artillery piece, and then he had another mortar, and both had spotters. Why he brought a spotter for the '88, I don't know, but he kept trying to bring them out into the open, and my snipers was chasing him around the board. He never got a shot off with his spotters on either unit the whole game.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. Well, The 88 I know historically was used by the Germans for indirect fire, and it sounds like they built that into the game too. But to your point, you were able to use the sniper, and you're still going to be able to do that, by the way, right? So let's take a look at this new rule
Yes,
section
yes,
here. So you're going to be able to, you're going to go after leaders, but you're also going to be able to go after opposing snipers and small teams.
yeah. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to kill the team, but they will have to take a morale check. And
Sure,
losing the leader, you're going to be at a -1 for that as well,
just so.
plus the pin. So you're going to really be -2 when you take your leadership test.
You're right.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So rifle range changes to 36. What was it before?
it's the same, 36,
Okay.
and then you can't shoot under 12 inches unless you just decide to use this regular rifle shot. The other thing
Okay.
that's changed here too is the assistant can now have a rifle. Um, I don't know what that's going to cost, if you have to pay for it, but you'll be able to get 2 shots off instead of one, whereas one guy has a pistol, and unless they're 6 inches away, he can't do anything.
If the sniper's not using a scope.
Right.
So if you're running up on the sniper team, they can fire a couple times at you.
Yep.
Or hey, if you're a German Fallschirmjäger team, you might have the assistant equipped with a assault rifle. So
Sure. Yeah. And
yeah,
he gets 2 shots then.
right, right. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. All
Yeah.
right. That's real good. Yeah,
Yeah.
because nobody on a battlefield is going to be carrying a pistol if they can help it. Gun crews might, French officers do, but that's a whole other discussion point.
Yeah.
But by and large, if you're on a battlefield, your guys are going to want to have at least a submachine gun, if not a rifle. So that's really good.
So a lot of
Um,
American officers, they like to carry the 45.
right. Yeah, but they also carry the M1.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of a lot of infantry officers carry the same rifle their troops carry. So let's see here. The shot benefits from an additional +1 modifier to hit.
Yeah.
So it's going to go
So,
from a 4 down to a 3, right?
so that's basically the way it was before. It's a 3 to hit.
Right.
Because everything else changed to a 4, but the sniper is going to get that extra benefit to knock them back down to 3.
Yeah. And how about a +1 modifier on damage?
Yeah, so there will be that's going to be huge. That's probably the biggest change, and I think it's going to make snipers very useful because now
Okay.
it's a lot easier to damage a veteran guy, and super easy
Yeah.
to kill off anything that's inexperienced.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And again, you're going to start, and if we think historically what snipers did, they went for those leaders. And so what the sniper's going to do is start picking your leaders off and throw some sand in your paperwork when it comes to trying to rally and move your guys forward.
yeah, yeah. So there was some discussion about, well, now they can't kill, like a bazooka team or a flamethrower team. But if you think about it, if you play the sniper right, you put them on ambush, and for one, they're going to be moving up, so they're going to be -1 to hit because they're moving. Your sniper shoots at him, he kills one guy off the team, kills the leader. So now they're -1 to morale. They're going to be -1 to hit because they're firing now with the assistant. So they're not likely to hit you that round. They're going to be at least at a 6, maybe at a 7. So they're going to miss. And then the next round, you're going to take them out anyway. You're going to hit them again and take the last guy out. If they don't fail their morale
Right.
check, if they fail the morale check, then they're already gone.
Mm-hmm.
So they can almost do the same thing as far as killing off a unit, but they're a little more consistent now. With the +1 damage, they'll more than likely cause a casualty that'll force a morale check, force, pins and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, so that's going to be absolutely devastating against observers and such.
Oh yeah,
And to your
spotter.
point,
Spotters are toast. I mean, really, they're
Yeah,
fours. Nobody has a veteran spotter, so they're going to be fours. That means you need a three to kill them.
right,
So
right. Well, now if they're veteran, they're 5 to kill. Remember?
yeah, but nobody brings veteran spotters.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna
The
have to
whole
think
unit
about
has
it.
to be veteran, so you'd have to have a veteran artillery unit, have a veteran spotter or a veteran mortar team.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
so you're going to see regulars.
Yeah.
You're not going to see any experience because nobody really brings a spotter. It's going to be a regular. So spotters 3+, they're gone.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm bringing two snipers. I can tell you right now, I'm going to have two snipers in my list.
You're gonna run two
Yep.
infantry platoons and two short infantry platoons, and you're gonna add a sniper.
Yeah. So there's a
Oh,
couple places you can put snipers in, right? In the new build, isn't that correct?
don't know. They did say that you could get more of them. So
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe you only have to have one infantry uh, platoon to have multiple snipers, maybe.
maybe, yeah, we shall see. I mean, I can guarantee you, folks, one of the things Randy and I are going to do, and maybe even John Ross, if I can shake him loose and get him on the channel, is we're going to definitely take a look at some of the list building opportunities within version 3, and especially as we get into our escalation league in October.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of interesting things going on, and we'll be definitely kicking the tires on all these things. So that's really good. Um, yeah, this is gonna definitely change. Now, of course, the couple of ways that you deal with snipers is counter snipers, obviously,
Yeah.
or you do what they used to do, and you're gonna have to flush them out with an infantry unit. So, yeah, definitely going to make
Yeah.
the battlefield a little bit more dynamic, and I like that.
I'll tell you something else that's really
Um,
good against a two-man team of any kind is the light mortar.
yeah,
It's super cheap. It ranges in, and 1 inch HE is enough to catch both guys. Um, so you're going to make a move, at some
right.
point. Yeah.
Got to remind people too. Snipers are going to continue to ignore cover and a +1 to hit.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's no cover saves. Um,
Right.
in the same line of thinking as cover before in version 2, the snipers ignored cover when shooting. You're not going to get a cover save, so they're really twice as likely to hit you now, and you're not going to get that cover save. So you're going to get a pin at the very
Yep.
minimum. They're going to pin you, and then with a +1 to damage, there's likely they're going to cause a casualty of some kind. So
Well, of
one
course, they
thing you
talk
could do
about
there.
too.
So if you think about it, if a guy's got a bunch of infantry, say he's got 4 squads of infantry, and you got a
Right.
couple of snipers, you just start picking off their NCOs. Now all of a sudden they're morale 8 with pins, and it makes it a lot harder for them to move, to activate, and
Right.
because they go down to an 8, and then if they got a couple
Right.
of pins, they're at 6 to activate. So that gets really tough.
Well, and the ability to actually pick those leaders off on the move and play that morale game, it definitely that's definitely I think going to feel that's going to make for a much more tense game.
Yeah.
Um,
Imagine if you hit
you
them with a
know,
flamethrower after you've taken out their NCO.
oh yeah, they're
Now
done.
they got to make a morale check without their NCO and a bunch of pins. So
Yeah, so they're probably gonna, and then a failed morale check, the unit goes away.
yeah,
So wow, yeah, okay. So yeah, snipers are going to be definitely part of everybody's repertoire. I
probably
think
the
I've got
only
one.
now probably the only army that might not worry too much about if unless they change it is the Germans because they upgrade anybody in the squad to an NCO,
Ah,
so,
okay,
so it may not matter to them, to the Germans.
right. I'll be real curious to see what they're going to do with some of the national rules, but
Yeah,
to your point, that makes sense. And you almost could argue that the British and Americans should have a similar rule. Um,
yeah, because the
maybe not the
Americans really
Russians and
had
the
a pretty
French.
good officer training I mean,
right.
they were strong.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it was nothing for the next NCO. They knew enough about modern combat that from the very beginning they were training American squads to for the next guy in line to take over when the upper people got knocked out, and that paid off in spades on all the battlefields, Pacific, Normandy. You would have corporals leading what was left of a squad and carrying out the objective after the sergeant had been knocked out, or even the lieutenant. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, so
the,
that, and in version 2 and one of the campaign books, there's an alternate, or not alternate, but additional rule that's optional. That's called senior NCO. And if
okay.
your officer's killed, uh, they say that there's a senior NCO in the office headquarters unit that's capable of stepping up and taking over the duties of the lieutenant was just killed.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I am sure version 3 will have all kinds of little stuff like that to keep us on our toes. I don't know if everybody has seen the picture of John Stollard holding the new rule book, but it is definitely more robust and it is
Oh, it's
soft,
definitely, yeah. I bet you there's 100 more pages in that rule book than there was before.
easily with all the things they're covering.
I just
You
hope
know,
they put an index in the back.
yeah,
That
here's hoping.
would be
Well,
so
Black
nice.
Powder has one, so hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, we know they know how to do them.
I mean, alphabetical index. That's how you find stuff. Alphabetical index.
Right,
Boom, you go right
in a
through
hurry.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so real thrilled about that. And again, remember, folks, as we go into the version 3, don't be quick to throw all the toys on the table. I was talking with a fellow. I was commenting on a Reddit post the other day, and the fellow's like, "Well, we played our first 1,000 points, and we got through 2 turns because we kept having to look up rules. Learn it in layers. I'm going to be teaching the group here in Savannah. We're gonna start off. We're gonna learn the infantry rules. How do they work? And then we're going to add in artillery and see how it works and what it does. Then we'll add in armor, and we might even do armor separately at first, and then we'll do combined arms. And the idea is to get many touches on the basic infantry, and then learn these other things, and not have to not try to learn everything all at once. And then we'll cap off probably with some kind of casual tournament or a play day where we just all come together and put our new knowledge to work. But yeah, take your time learning this. It ain't going nowhere. Our community, Warlord doesn't change their rules every 2 years, so you've got a little bit of a learning curve. Unless, of course, you're like Randy and you're a tournament monster, in which case, Randy, I have a feeling this rulebook will be sitting beside your toilet.
I'll be up all night. Yeah. But think of it like a giant, or like a pizza. You
Right?
wouldn't roll it up and eat the whole thing at one bite. You're going to slice it up into slices and then eat one slice at a time.
Just so. You're absolutely right. I like that. Very smart. So, and that's it for snipers.
Yeah.
Not
So,
big update this week. Go ahead.
I'm seeing another thing that they're doing, and it seems to be going across all the rules now. And if you read this paragraph here, to feel historically more appropriate. So like everything they're doing is like more historical now instead of being just gamey. Your platoons, before you
Right.
didn't have a mixed bag platoon. That wasn't the way war was fought in World War II. You had an infantry platoon, you had a tank platoon, you had an artillery platoon. I mean, you had all these separate sections, and they worked together, but they were a whole separate unit in themselves.
Yeah, I hear you. Although at this level, it would not have been uncommon to have a tank attach itself to an infantry platoon, or vice versa, an infantry platoon to attach itself to a tank squadron. So I hear you, and I think to your point, what they're going to do is make people pay a little more attention to the historical tables of organization and equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope so, because Saints knows we have seen some wild mixes. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Let's see.
Speaking of,
So,
go
yeah,
ahead.
we'll see that in a little while. I
What's that?
said we'll see that in a little while.
Yeah,
We got a
absolutely.
list.
Yeah, we'll be. Yeah,
It's one that'll
because
make
your
you
list
itch.
will definitely be some of that cheese. And I mean, I was having a thought coming. You got me sidetracked. Um, but yeah, so it's definitely going to have people are going to have to think more like company. You're going from being a platoon commander at this point to being a company level commander,
Yeah.
and that's a little bit different level of focus. I think it'll be fun. Tables are going to be probably a little busier, but that's half the fun of the game. So there we go. Snipers inbound. Couple things. Oh yeah, and speaking of new things, the new Italian Alpini troops dropped this week. I just got them in stock and they look cool. If anybody's interested in the Italian Alpini, check the website. I don't think I've opened up saying this, but if you like the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to support the show, buy some merch at Gator Games, GatorGamesWayX.com, and that's the store I run, dedicated and focused on doing just this, growing the hobby, talking about the hobby, whether it's bolt action, black powder, blood and plunder. I mean, we have and will cover a variety of games and subjects because at the end of the day, Gator Games loves the hobby and loves the hobbyists. So that's our take on the new Intel update. Randy, tell us a little bit about Nashcon. How did that go?
Yeah. So Nashcon, I mean, it was a great tournament. There was a lot of people there, a lot of vendors. We didn't have quite the turnout of players that we thought. I mean, I was expecting 20, and I think we had maybe 10. Not,
Really?
not sure why, but
Okay.
yeah. So my first round, I got meeting engagement, and I think I played two British players and one American player. Even though they were trying to match up Axis and Allies, didn't work out for me at all. But the first one, I was told that don't cut him any slack because he's the best player in our group. And I was like, all right. I said, basically, if I'm going to win this thing, I got to play the best guy there. I got to beat him. So might as well do it first round. And I had a really strong first round, and I beat him. And I was like, yeah, that's a good start. And then we got I got ended up with two draws on
Boy,
yeah. So there was a lot of draws. I think second round there was like everybody but one person I think had draws. I mean, it was just
okay.
yeah.
Wait, are we playing World War II or World War One?
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I
sometimes it works out that way.
well, what killed me was I got transports and it was double envelopment and there was a ton of ruins and they were all staggered so much that you had to keep making turns and zigzag tight turns through all these rubble and ruins. And I ended up getting both my transports killed before one was immobilized and one got blown up. So I had to start moving on foot. And in the end, I ended up managing a draw because I ran my horse. He basically kind of turtled up and he just put everything on ambush. He didn't get anything into my deployment zone. And so I had a PPA Jeep left and the horse limber. So I ran the horse limber right at one of his ambushes. And he looks at me, he's like, why are you doing that? I just don't understand why you're doing it. You're just giving me the unit. And so I got him to trip his ambush. Of course, he killed it. And but then it left my Jeep to make a 24-inch run and get into his deployment zone. And that was the only unit on both sides that got into the deployment. And the difference in kill points, it ended up uh, being a draw. So if I had
Wow.
not done that, he would have won by 1 point. So
Did you have? Did you? Well, and you were playing British, so you had your offboard artillery. Didn't make a difference for you.
yeah, so because of the rubble with line of sight blocking, there was very little line of sight. So
Got it.
I had limited places where I could call it in, and I think I only hit like one unit that round with
Hmm.
the bombardment, and so yeah. And
Yeah,
my
we had.
sniper, he played, he tried to, well, he didn't get his in. He had British observer too, but my sniper was there on ambush where his observer was, and he wouldn't come out. He just ran away, and I was like, chicken. He's like, yeah. So he finally called it in, like I don't know, it was like fourth or fifth round, and it got delayed to the point where it never came in. So
Wow.
yeah. So really, the
Wow.
sniper earned his points by stopping the observer, which is a 100-point
That's
gun.
right. Yeah, it's going to be real curious. I don't know that we've seen a lot of discussion yet on terrain for version 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that rubble one is definitely, it is absolutely subject to interpretation. I've seen rubble interpreted as no line of sight blocking, and then I've seen it interpreted as basically partially shot down buildings. And I guess you could have both depending on either one, depending on what you're trying to model in the scenario. So okay,
Yeah.
but
So
you had fun the Nashcon. Go ahead.
oh yeah, I had a lot of fun. So my line of thought has always been, if there's any kind of walls to the ruins, then it would be line of sight blocking. But if it's just like totally broken down, then you should be able to see across it. You know, even if you have to pay
Right.
a penalty for shooting across it. But
Yeah.
that's what we agreed on. That's why we played it. The other thing that hurt me too, and was the tables. This table wasn't set up too well. That the outsides, there was no terrain for like 6 inches on both sides, all the way across the board. And
Right.
he was like, "Well, let's move these two buildings out to the side to block, so you can't go straight across." Well, he didn't have any transports, and I did. So I probably should have argued the table stays where it is, because then I could have just put them on a run and just went choom, right off the board. Boom.
Yeah, I think I know we got our tournament coming up Saturday, and I would definitely. I've never had players want to change the terrain, but there's a reason the TOs have set the terrain up the way they have.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it definitely you definitely don't want to see players making those changes. I thought you had sent me pictures of your. There we go.
Yeah, I thought I did too. Of the 6 tables, I took
Yeah,
pictures
hang
of
on just a
every
minute.
table.
Let's see.
Let's see if we can.
No, don't want that. Let's see. Let's go here and share that tab instead. There you go.
Yeah.
See, look at that. You're better than you thought.
So yeah, actually, I won the best table.
That's fantastic, Randy.
Yeah, I was really happy about that. It was a lot of work, and there was three really good tables here. Um, I think these three pictures that you got are the three top tables, and
This one is yours.
no, this is another guy's. I played on this one first round, I think. Yeah, I
Good looking
did.
table.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not bad. I was a little concerned because he had some really nice fields on the table, and then the stone walls. I think what dinged him is his brown patches for forests and the trees. Jim Casey's trees on my table, I think, were just awesome. I mean, they're just
Cool beans.
next level.
Um,
Yeah. And then
you
my
know what?
bocage. Hmm?
Go ahead.
Yeah, my bocage was, of course, everybody
Oh
hated
yeah.
it that played on it, but, you know, and from what I found out, I played on this board the third round. I found out that nobody played this as bocage. They played it as hedgerows. And I was insistent with the guy. I was like, I set this table up. This is bocage. This is how we're going to play it. Because, and it really hurt me as far as trying to get to his base, because this was demolition. And
Right.
he also turtled up. I mean, he put his base back here behind this red house in that field, and
Sure.
behind the houses there to the left, he had two flamethrowers and a bazooka, and then he had three squads of veteran infantry
Jeez.
with BARs, and he was not letting me get to that base.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he had three multi launchers, which were giving me all kinds of fits. Yeah, he had one 114 millimeter artillery, and then 2 of those trucks with the multi launchers on them.
How could he have? Oh, okay. Those took up tank slots.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me.
Okay.
I think somebody's got to go.
Uh
Yeah, I knocked something over I shouldn't have.
oh. Oh no.
Come on, come on, come on.
Pardon the technical interruption, folks. So, if you are thinking about coming to our tournament Saturday, you will see this table, and every table we do is done this well. You may have heard the name Jim Casey. We call him our quartermaster. He makes a lot of terrain for our group, and it's we always have it at our meetings. So we meet the third Friday of each month. Would love to have you come up and play. Give us a heads up so we make sure we got space for you. We play a variety of games, not always bolt action, but if that's the itch you want to scratch, let us know so we'll make sure we got someone to play. And congrats to Randy and congrats to Jim for this team effort. I
Yeah.
got to tell you, and we get compliments, on our table layouts for the tournaments that we put out here in Savannah. So that's really cool. Again, congratulations, Randy. Did you get any kind of prize for that?
Yeah, actually, so I got a certificate. Plus, I got this church. Well, there it is. So it's an MDF church. Pretty nice looking church.
Okay. You need more church in your life.
Well, and actually I do because uh, I've got one church that I built, and it's a really nice one, homemade church. But um, I put it on my city board, and then now all of a sudden, if we're doing a tournament, there's another table that I'd like to have a church in Norman Village, and I can't because it's sitting on the city board. So this will give me another
Okay.
that I can actually put down there as well.
That is fantastic, man.
Yeah,
That's
so I'm excited about
and that may be for something for us to consider when we do. I think we're gonna do some type of bolt action day in October.
it. Hmm.
Um, and so I think no, that may be Blood and Plunder. So our next tournament may not be until next year, but I definitely would like to see if we can't get other people to bring tables, and maybe run a table tournament and say,
Yeah,
okay, let's see who has the best looking tables.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
We got to get more people with terrain. That'd be the key there.
right. And you've heard me talk about this before. Sometimes people forget that there's when it comes to material, there's two sides to the hobby. There's your armies and there's your terrain.
Yeah,
And a well-rounded hobbyist really does want to have a good collection of both,
yeah,
so that he can play at home, or even if I mean, let's get real. Most of your game stores, they're going to have 40K type terrain. So if
yeah,
you're playing at a game store, you're probably going to want to take your own stuff. I know I saw the Flames of War guys tonight talking about what terrain they wanted to take up to our local store, Savannah Lion Games, and they wanted to make sure they had the Flames of War terrain because if you're going to play Flames of War, you want it to look like World War II, not the jungles of Cadia. So I
and the
get that. That's
scale
pretty
too.
cool.
The scale's got to be right.
Scale's important. Yeah. 28 millimeters, a little forgiving, 15, a little less so.
Yeah,
So fantastic. All right. So then now we're ready to start our third segment here, the Army list review. I'll throw this up here and blow the screen up.
yeah,
And there we go. Let's see. Let me stop sharing that. There we go. All right. Everybody can see everything all right?
yeah.
So I may have to back out of this to roll the screen down. There we go. Can you see that okay, Randy, or do you need to blow your screen up? Can you blow
Yeah,
your screen up
I'm
too?
good. I can see it fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So first platoon.
yeah. So if you'll
Uh,
notice here on the top, it shows 19 order dice and 1,198 points. So the reason that is because the super heavy artillery observer, even though it's a generic reinforced unit, it is not an easy army. So I can't add it. So I have to go in with 1,200 points, and then the 50 goes on top of that.
Nothing like making the TO's job just a little bit
Yeah,
more complicated. Thank you so
and
much.
the order dice is actually 20 because I have unsurpassed bravery. And in Easy Army, it's another one of their flaws. Um, so unsurpassed bravery gives you the 10-man squad and the special rule that you can re-roll a failed morale test for any unit in your army.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could pick manpower of the empire and you just get the squad, but if you pick unsurpassed bravery, you get both, and they're both free. So
Oh my goodness.
the problem is it doesn't give you the extra dice. It's only giving you credit for the ability and not the free 10-man squad, which even in the description it tells you you get the free 10-man squad. It just doesn't give you the extra dice. So if I was playing the same platoons, like two platoons, I what I saw somebody do last year at Warzone is in one squad they pick manpower of the empire, and in the second squad they pick unsurpassed bravery, and it gets the dice count correct. Yeah, but
Okay.
anyway, I've got 20 dice and 1,248 points is what it amounts to. So
Okay.
yeah,
So last time we looked at one of your lists, it was all Gurkhas all the time.
no
This one looks
Gurkhas.
like Legends of the Green Beret here. We've got SAS and Marquis. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I wanted to play this SAS Northwest Europe. It's a theater selector, which most tournaments won't allow. But since we're opening the doors on this one, I'm bringing this platoon here, which only choice is a veteran SAS lieutenant, and then I've got two 7-man SAS squads. One of them just has rifles. The other one has all submachine guns.
Okay.
Yeah. So the submachine guns will be more of along the line of an assault unit, but they're going to be they get assault anyway, but it'll give them a little more firepower when they're close up.
Right.
And they're fanatics, so all the SAS units are going to be fanatics.
Bunch of crazy Englishmen.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out. And then of course I get to take the Maquis. Um, these are French partisans, and I picked I was going to build a couple big squads, but then I decided to just basically what it is. I'm taking two sniper teams here.
You know what? I I, I got to give you a tip of the hat for being rather thematic because partisans, especially I would think on the Western Front, um, at this point of the war, would not have necessarily been fielding large units. So,
Mhm.
man, Randy, that really fits in with the narrative. Good job.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have wanted to get into combat. They would have some guy that's going to shoot a sniper rifle at long distance, trying to pick off, a German
Yeah.
officer or something.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this is I give them all pistols, which reduces their cost by 3 points a man, and then the sniper, so they don't pay for inexperienced in bolt action version 2, so they're still going to hit on a 3. um, so I've got two sniper squads at 43 points apiece. The only thing they don't get is they don't get the forward deploy like a regular sniper team.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
I can live with that.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
So the next thing is this deception team. What is
Deception.
deception?
So deception means that the enemy is going to suffer an additional -1 modifier for coming in on either reserve or outflank.
You. Okay.
Yeah. And so I
Wow.
also added the improvised bomb, which is I think it's a 4-inch HE. So they basically move up next to something, and then when they advance away from it the next turn, it sets off a bomb.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's my. This was actually the deception team here. I don't know if you can see them. These guys are fully painted. They're ready to go.
Hang on just a minute. There we go.
Might have to get them to
Looks
focus.
good, Randy.
It's hard to get them to
Nice.
focus.
It is. It is. You might what you might do is grab a picture and throw it on the Pulaski's Guard
Yeah,
page,
I'll do that.
along with the pictures from the tables. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And tag Jim Casey.
Okay. Yep.
That'd be
He'll
great.
he'll enjoy that. Yep.
Yeah. And folks, as you're, one of the a pro tip here, when you go to events, get pictures, post them in the different bolt action groups. Tell us what's going on so we can get ideas and we can be encouraged. I think, my cycle always is invite, promote, enjoy, and then follow up. And that follow up really is designed to help people see what you did and say, hey, maybe I'll go next time, or maybe I can do this with whatever I'm got planned and coming up. So let me go ahead and put the there we go. Okay,
Yep.
so back to our list here.
Okay. So this is another little special thing about this Northwest Europe. Uh, it's called a weapons team. So the first one I'm taking as a sniper.
Okay.
So for free, you get to pick a sniper. So if you look at this as for 60 points, I'm getting a veteran sniper that's also an SAS guy. And normally a veteran sniper is 65 points. So this is a
Okay.
bargain. And
Wow.
he will forward deploy.
Yeah.
And then the second weapons team is they allow to take a bazooka.
That's
Which is
fun.
something the British don't normally get. But with this
Right.
weapons team, I can take a bazooka.
Like it.
Yeah.
Won't like being on the receiving end of it, but I like it.
Yeah.
And then we go into your transports. You got a Jeep there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
So
that's for transporting those two weapons teams.
I've got two of them. There's one on
Right.
another page. So one thing that's special about the SAS transport Jeep is it hauls 4 guys. It can also take a machine gun and still haul guys, which normally a transport Jeep loses transport capacity once you put a machine gun on it. But this one
Okay.
doesn't. And it says here more than a delivery driver. So if it's empty and closer to the enemy, it doesn't run away like a normal Jeep would.
Okay.
Yeah. So for 45
That,
points, this is a very nice unit.
it's a rolling machine gun.
It is. Yeah. And it hauls 4 guys. So that's kind of cool because then you can put, like if you had a flamethrower team and a bazooka team,
Yep.
you can put them both in this Jeep and run them
Right.
up and dump them out and do all kinds of nastiness.
Nice. All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's look at the next one here. Looks good. Again, a solid list. I think it's going to be a pain to play against, but very
Well,
thematic. I like that.
so the other thing about, so I have, and I factored this in exactly. The SAS Northwestern has a special rule that regardless of the scenario, up to half of the SAS units can outflank.
Oh, wow.
So that means 4 of my units will be able to outflank no matter what the scenario is. Even if it says you're not allowed to outflank, they can still do it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So they don't get a lot of extra stuff like tanks and mortars and artillery because they all drove Jeeps. The SAS were
Light infantry.
men in Jeeps. That's what they were.
Yeah.
So I take a regular, my second platoon is just a regular British platoon. Got the second lieutenant, inexperienced, paying the tax. And I'm bringing a home guard. So I've tried using this a few times. And I got to paint these guys up tonight. But 10-man squad, full strength, and it has a BAR in it. So that gives it a little bit of range.
Yeah, but you got two unarmed guys in there.
Two
What the
unarmed
heck?
guys, they're the cannon fodder. So hopefully one of them will get killed and I get upgrade from inexperienced to regular. That's the plan. So they're not really out there to shoot much anyway. The BAR is probably the only thing that's really important in the squad.
Right.
More or less there for holding objectives, and maybe they get upgraded and actually become a pretty good little unit.
It can shoot 9 shots at 24 inches. That's nothing
Yeah,
to sneeze at.
yeah, that's true. If they're not moving, um, you've only got the one -1, and then if you're paying for cover, you're hitting on fives maybe.
Right. Right. That's not bad.
You put a pin out at the very least.
Yes. So
Um,
next squad's an engineer section.
Yep, got a engineers. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8-man engineer squad with a flamethrower, and let's see, I think I got 4 submachine guns. Yeah,
Wow.
4 submachine guns, and I don't think I made them tough or stubborn this time. Um, Typically, if I take a 5-man, I'll make them stubborn because it's pretty easy to lose enough guys to make them take a morale check.
Okay.
So with 8, I feel pretty secure. Plus, they're kind of more of like a squad. They've got some rifles in there too.
I gotta say, I complimented you on the first platoon, but this second platoon is all cheese.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Oh my
they have
gosh, you got
nothing in common with the
Home
first.
Guard, got Royal Canadians. Oh my gosh! And then I see down here there's an airborne Reese Jeep. I mean, oh my gosh!
Yeah. So got the free observer with an extra dude, and this is the one that's actually upgraded to the super heavy.
Oh
So
boy!
it'll do a little extra. It's not a naval observer by any means, but it'll do a little extra damage on a 5 instead of just a 6. And the biggest thing is I think it adds 1 inch to the radius, so that can make a difference in how many units you actually clip. When it'll make the enemy spread out a little bit more away from that little bullseye that I put on the board.
Yeah, I see here you pulled from different books. Easy
Yeah,
Army will do that.
yeah, yeah. Well, so a lot of these will not allow in. I think the Commonwealth you can't use in a generic platoon. Some people try to do it because Easy Army lets you, but if the TO's on top of it, they won't let you take a Commonwealth national characteristic. You have to take the standard national characteristics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this TO's kind of thinking that.
yeah.
We'll talk about that offline. And that's
So
why you have a TO that kind of scrubs the list.
yeah.
Um,
Well, you said
and
anything
then
goes, so there you
yeah,
go.
yeah, but
When you say theaters
technically,
allowed, that's
right, theaters are fine. I think taking a national characteristic probably is a little over the top, um, given the way the rest of the list is. And that's one of those things. Easy Army will let you do it, but it's really not. You're really not supposed to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the common, what I'm shooting for here is the Free Indian Squad, really, because if you look
Right.
at the list, the SAS, it's the only real solid infantry that I have. The Home
Yeah.
Guard is kind of just a weak unit, basically putting in an order dice. The engineers, they're more or less, just getting up close and trying to flamethrow a tank, really. So they're not really an infantry squad as far as what I would use an infantry squad for.
Well, if you got to take out a heavy position, they're your guys.
Yeah,
And you said tank, but boy, if I got to dig somebody out of some rubble, that's my go-to right there. Is that flamethrower?
yeah.
Okay.
I got the land mattress. Um, I've
Yep.
had pretty good luck with that thing so far in the tournaments I've played with it. It's been hitting some stuff. The trick
So
is
what's the mule team? What's the mule team hauling?
so the mule team is supposed to be pulling the land mattress, but it's just going to hide all game. It's just there for an order dice. to bring up my order dice count. For 4 points, I get another dice in the bag.
Yeah. So, but he can't haul the land mattress because the land mattress is a heavy mortar,
No,
and the
the
mule
mule team can
team.
haul anything.
No,
Let's
it
see.
says any light gun or light howitzer. So you might want to take a look at that.
I may have to upgrade to the horse limber.
Check that because you've got 2 more points to use.
Yeah, yeah, I can probably squeeze something to make that
Yeah,
work.
not to put you on the spot or anything, but yeah, I would
No, so
definitely
I
take a
would,
look at that.
because they're kind of like the same as a horse. I would have thought they would have pulled just anything, because the horse limber will pull any gun.
Different. The mule team, you break it down and pack it on the mule. That's why
Yeah,
it's a light gun or a light howitzer.
that's probably why,
The
because I don't think there's a limber for the mule team.
right,
The
right.
horse limber actually has
Specifically,
a limber.
yeah. Historically, the U.S. 75 millimeter was a pack howitzer, and by pack it meant you could break it down and
Oh,
put it
that's
onto
a
a
great
mule.
gun. Yeah,
So it's a light howitzer.
the airborne actually dropped with that because they would
Yep.
break it down and drop it. It was such a great little artillery piece.
Right. Right. I don't know if you remember the scene from the movie A Bridge Too Far, where General Gavin is riding on an artillery limber. They're carrying him into town. I think he broke his ankle on the landing. Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely take a look at that. And
Yeah,
folks, this is the kind of thing the TO does is he looks at the list and kind of gives it a scrub. So that's good. And then the airborne Reese Jeep.
yep. Just a bunch of machine guns, 10 shots.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, this tournament will probably be a pretty good will be a pretty good fur ball. But yeah, I think I would definitely take a hard look at the mule, and you might even take a look at that national rule too.
yeah,
So don't want to monkey stomp folks too bad. But and that's the other thing when in version 3 will be the same way when you build your army. If you're going to play tournament, you're going to play to the rules. Although there's something to be said, like me, I tend to just throw something together, and I tend to stay fairly historical. I'll usually build a core of either Vermont if I'm doing Germans, Vermont, or Fallschirmjäger. And Randy, I'll probably have a couple of lists ready just in case I need to play.
yeah, yeah,
And then, but usually I stick with I try and theme it pretty close. So, but here the TO said, "Hey, sky's the limit," and get a guy like Randy. He's like, "Oh boy, let's play with all the toys." Oh look, there's an armored truck. See, that truck will carry that land mattress.
yeah. So the
Um,
armored truck is for my engineer squad. Um,
right.
so it hauls 8 guys. Um,
Okay.
which is better than it's fairly cheap compared to like a half track or something like that,
Sure.
and a lot more durable than putting them into just a soft skin and running them up there.
That's right. And again, that's going to be true, and that's going to be definitely critical in version 3, where soft skins become a lot more vulnerable.
Yeah,
Um,
I think this
Actually,
armored
I think
truck
they were
is really
always
gonna.
that vulnerable. Version 3, they just specify it.
I might actually
Um,
print a couple more of these up because um, they're a great little truck, especially with the way the rules are going to be in version 3.
right, right, absolutely. And then there's your friend, the Daka Stewart, the tank that everybody loves to hate.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
lots of machine gun firepower and snipers coming out of this little group with your
yeah.
off-board artillery and your land mattress. That's gonna be a good little force.
I've got three snipers, so that's really gonna lock down some lanes for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing. The one thing I do really like about bolt action is the way your tanks can engage multiple targets. There's some games
Mhm.
that don't allow that, and it makes me scratch my head. Because again, let's go back to my old stalwart squad leader. Everybody say it.
Yeah,
Um, you can, and I've done it. I played one scenario where I put a T-34 on the road. I put his bow machine gun pointing down the road to cover the road if anybody tried to cross, and then I had his turret covering the other road. So, and he did good work. He pinned down some Germans, kept them from routing across the road. This is the same thing you can do with your tanks in bolt action, and that's going to continue. I mean, you're going to be half effect, but your Daka Stewart. We were talking about that. The Daka Stewart still not. It won't be as devastating, but it'll still be nothing. It'll be something, nothing to sneeze at. It'll still roll a lot of dice for what it does.
Yeah.
So, but you like to feel that it's part of a platoon. So that'll be a special. So, folks, one of the things you're going to see, one of the big differences between version 2, version 3, even if you're having open list, you're still going to have to take these vehicles and group them into a platoon, and so that's going to be definitely different. And again, we will definitely do some version 2, version 3 comparisons as version 3 comes on board to help people kind of get their head around building the different armies. Randy, this has been really great. Any other thoughts about your list?
Um, no, I think that's pretty much it.
Good.
I would say that version 3, it'll be interesting to see if platoon leaders can cross over to other platoons as far as their abilities, or are they going to be specific to their units?
That's a really good question. I mean, I can see where a machine gun platoon leader or mortar artillery platoon leader could probably direct an infantry guys, but they're not going to have they wouldn't even begin to understand how to direct and lead and guide, let's say, a tank platoon, and
Yeah.
vice versa. So
Well,
yeah, there's
yeah,
go
and to
ahead.
that point, so the British and there's a few other armies that can take headquarters units that are called gun commanders, and
Right.
so they're allowed to recrew guns, but their shortcoming is they can only snap two artillery pieces.
Sure.
They can't snap two infantry.
Right.
So we might
Oh
see something
wow.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, you've got that single land mattress, whereas in version 3, you'd probably have to have two and a headquarters unit.
Oh,
So
shoot. Well,
things
yeah. The British with their light howitzers. I'm thinking if I field an artillery platoon, it'll be three light howitzers, a land mattress, and maybe something else. Maybe a Bofors gun or maybe an anti tank gun, the way anti tank guns are going to be much better.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool beans. Yeah, I got to take a look at my arsenal. I probably need to add a couple anti-tank guns myself. All right. So folks, we have covered the version 3 sniper rules update. Snipers are going to remain deadly. Little discussion and a big nod and tip of the hat to our friends up at Nashcon. Sounds like they ran a pretty good tournament, at least very interesting.
Yeah.
Congrats again on Randy for winning the best table. That's fantastic. And then
Yeah.
finally, we looked at Randy's tournament list that he's considering running tomorrow. Right? At our
Saturday.
tournament here in Savannah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Saturday. Yeah.
this coming Saturday. It is Thursday, so there is still time. We've got a couple spots open if you want to make the drive to Savannah and come play. I will have the email address that you can send your tournament list, and the fee will be $20. As we begin to wrap up, just again, if you like what we're doing, smash the like. If you want to get more, you want to keep up with what we're doing, subscribe. And we did just get over 50 subscribers, so Mike's going to be figuring out how to do this live, and that'll be fun. Yeah, Randy likes that. Um, and then also, if you want to support the channel, best way to do that is buy some merch from Gator Games and Books. We are your historical gaming hobby store. Honestly, in Savannah at least, and really in Southeast Georgia, we ship anywhere in the continental United States. So if you need it, we can get it to you. So fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, folks, for your evening. Go ahead, Randy.
So Mike, hearing that news, what do you think about possibly putting one of the games on live Saturday?
We did that last time and we had mixed results. That's a very good idea. We will put one of the round 2 games on Facebook Live uh, on Saturday. Well, actually, we may put it on YouTube Live and then flip it
Yeah.
over to Facebook. I think Randy, I actually think I can broadcast both into StreamYard and YouTube, and I think I can also broadcast to Facebook. I'll have to check that.
Yeah.
But we will definitely be showing live. Watch your social media, watch your YouTube. and that way you guys can kind of see the games in play. If you've not played Bolt Action, kind of give you a look of how version 2 worked, and
Yeah.
also get an eyeball toward how people are painting their troops, how they're putting the tables together. When you're playing miniature gaming, you're telling a story, and all the elements work together to tell that story.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys so much, Randy. Thanks for your time this evening.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, and folks, may may your dice always be in your favor.